Okay, we're going to start with another Design League playthrough, and this one is from stubby3596. And we're looking like deserts, I think. Yeah, it must be, due to base texture. So, we're going to have a quick zip around. It looks like it's in our 350 by 800 area. We got some parallel fairways, we'll touch on that in a little bit. But we got some par 3s going in different directions as well. It should be fun. And really like the look that you've gone with. So just like quite bare, but I like that you've gone with some underbrush to give it a little bit of colour as well. And look off the first tee's great. Like you're completely getting the idea of framing and bringing stuff in on different sides, trying to chop off this part of the view. Like the first sightline's gorgeous. Love it. Lighting's good but not too glaring. Really like the use of clouds to add a bit. Peak in the backdrop is good. I think you will get better at those. Like we kind of saw it on the fly through as well. Like this sort of stuff on the edge. That one's good. You'll get better at this with practice. Like it's just trying and messing around with brushes, and that's kind of reflected in some of the sculpting we see here. So this bunker I think is just too narrow to really ever work. Like you're just gonna have to fight so hard to lower that whilst keeping that high, and yeah, it just gets a bit narrow. Sizing is pretty typical. This one, it's kind of to do with where you've put it. You typically want your bunkers facing the player, but because the hill is only up here and it's low here, you're going to find that tricky to ever show it back to the player. That's why the sculpting's gotten a little bit awkward. Plus, like a lot of new designers tend to want to go with these really funky shapes. Honestly, they're very hard to do. Just generally try to make bigger shapes for bunkers. If you ever watch the Matt Fritsch videos, like the shapes tend to be a lot bigger than you think they are. Actual strategy. Oh geez, we've got a green. Okay, we'll come to the green in a second. I mean, I've maybe got a bit more space to run it in if I come this way. I like that you've not... I'd like this green bunker to be a bit closer to the green, because now I'm asking myself why there's not fairway like here. But I like that you've canted the green into a bunker a little bit. Let's see how tempo's treating us today. I do like the low profile little undulations we got here. Oh dear. Got a little one asleep on me, so hopefully she keeps going. If not, we might go on pause in a second. The orange may be a little overpowering / one tone here. Planting tends to work better if you can clump it together, and just we've gone from a lot of trees to suddenly 0 trees there. So, and just the changes maybe a little bit jarring. But I like it, and I like that you've used something there to break it up. It's worked really nicely. Now this pin, I think this green generally, we've seen it with other videos. I think you can afford a bit more space. It's going to be kind of you hit really close to the bin and you're making birdie, or you're high and you're making par, or it's just a bit all or nothing. I like all of the contours on here. I would just love this green to be not quite double in size, but like let's imagine it came round here and round here and round here and round here. Keep all the slopes, you just need more playable surface. Because the concept on the slopes is good and they all work together really nicely. Maybe we've got the perfect shot, who knows? Hit the upslope and we're going to be long and we've got a dicey little putt. So like this little slope here feels maybe a little... Do we need that? Are we really saying you're within 3 feet and you're making birdie, or you're not? Do you see what I mean? It's kind of that reward the good shot, not just the great shot. And I think your other issue is with this false front, I'm now going to have to play really defensively on this putt because the pin slopes hard away, like a tiny bit off it. I'm not very good at doing that. Yeah, that's about as hard as I dared hit that. And I have no problem with... It's all about balance. Same kind of things with bunkers by the greens. I think you can see this one's just a little thin and therefore struggling with sculpting a bit because of that. I like the variance when we go behind the clouds. You've done that really nicely. I think you want to be putting something in that's dissuading me from hitting driver. There's a little bit of a spine, actually. I take it all back. Yeah, if I'm hitting this side of the fairway, I guess the light's just gone in, so it's a bit more difficult to see. I think there's something there. So maybe we're kicking off to the right. Yeah. Maybe a little bit harsh. but it's a par 5, so that works. Yeah, this green slope I don't love. We're kind of kicking people into rough, and this doesn't feel. If we take the camera off, I'll tell you what. If we take the camera off and lose the green grid, I think you'll kind of see what. I just don't think that mound really looks natural. Like if you take the green grid away, sometimes this gets easier to look at. So you've got your flat section, and then it's kind of mounding and falling down here, and it just doesn't look quite right to me. I do like the little spine there, and then this back portion is flatter. Maybe I've just got the worst pin possible. I think I stuck with pin 3 based on the round I just played. But I mean, there's still... Oh, there's tempo. There's still no reason not to go for it. So, and it's a par 5, so you can dial up difficulty. Just, I guess, kind of same comment as first green. You can allow a little bit more space for people to miss in. I like the little building behind the green. I think the environment's great. Really like it. Oh god, this is a nasty putt. Here we go. Yeah, same comment on greens. Like we're saying perfect shot or bust again and again. I do really like this hole though. Maybe would like it to be a little narrower, given that you've given me. Like if the pin is here, I've got to land it dead on the front, or we're going long. And this is, I'd quite like this sort of green that's sloping hard from the back. Like your challenge is really distance control. You want to leave it below the hole, but because you give me nowhere to land it on short, there's almost no way of leaving it here, given the length of shot. If this is 40 yards shorter, then I think this works without an apron. But if we watch the way the ball, hopefully if we hit the green, it's a bit of a slow. If you watch the way the ball releases, like there's literally no chance I'm stopping that short, which means that whatever happens, I've got this putt or worse. So I think you've got to allow people a chance to leave a decent miss. But love that green setting, love the idea. Just I'd tweak either distance or front of green. This is cool. We've kind of exposed the part of the plot that you haven't really planted. Honestly, just tree line. Like you've got enough trees that it would justify that. But when we have that really heavily planted area here, this bit being pretty barren kind of stands out, and it will draw your eye pretty quickly. I don't mind the fairway coming out here. I mean, I guess it's kind of kicking the ball back in, but it does strike me that we've got a wider landing zone for driver than we've got for 3-wood, so which kind of brings us back to one of our things off this course so far. I think is just that off the tee, you need to give me a reason not to hit driver. Equally, I think this is one where I'd look at some of Andre's courses. Like he does step and desert a lot. The heavy rough and where you're putting it. Personally, I'd do it around your planted areas, and that will kind of give you an extra texture, which almost does the planting for you. But it feels a little bit random with the splurges. I think this bunker I'd probably want dragged out a little bit more, because like we could, and it could be an interesting hole if you. Sorry, not that it's not interesting, but you could add interest by taking the fairway and wrapping it round the bunker. Like generally, if I've split a fairway completely, you'd want there to be a hazard that's going the whole way across. If not, let's look for a way around it, because people, like, if there's a space in this fairway, I could be looking at hitting my 4-iron here and running it up here. Like, it just adds a bit more interest for that shot. As it is, I'm just going to try and hack it into the bunker. Whee! Yeah, I think bunker sculpting is going to be one of your things. I do also think this pin's a bit too close to that big slope as well. Huh. I do think you've done a good job of well, actually, I think you've done a very good job of changing green slopes and not green slopes so much, sorry, but green angles and green shapes and where they're sitting. This is very different to the previous ones, but it does feel cohesive. It's like, so yeah, like really well done there. I think this green probably a little small. Don't love this slope running off. Quite like this one back here, but I'd like that portion extended a touch. So you're going to think about your 4 pinnable positions. What have you got that's playing differently? Well, one over here is playing differently to here, although that's tight. I don't think you can put one in there, or should. I think you could put one in there, but it's not playing massively different to there. You just need a bit more pinnable area to ensure that those 4 pins are playing a little differently or asking a slightly different question. Enjoying this so far. This is a great looking hole as well. Really nice short par 3. It's helped by the lighting for sure. Going to be a weird one. I think you can size your trees down a little bit. These feel a touch giant, particularly these ones which are all the same tree. I think you probably want to be rotating and resizing a bit more than maybe you are. Slopes on this green are super interesting. Again, I think your pin could use a little. Yeah, I mean, you get the picture. Oh, and we got a very unflat tee box. You're going to want to change those. Huh. I mean, I am definitely referencing quite a few things, but I think good thing for me is the ideas are really nice. You've got a natural eye for planting and framing, which is going to take you a long way. And the things that I'm mentioning are kind of the same again and again. Like, if you can find a way to challenge driver a little bit more, I think, so look at your strategy off the tee. If you can look at your pin positions and allowing a bit more space within those. And then, because yeah, again, this is like, if I'm missing left or right, those bunkers are just, they're there to catch a shot that's already offline. They're not really forcing me, or a good way of explaining hazards is a hazard is a way to break up a boring shot. At the moment, I'm hitting driver, hopefully straight. Like, you want to use your hazards, like you've done up by the green, to really influence how I'm going to approach that shot. And I think you're doing it pretty well on greens, because you've got an eye on how to break up a green complex and kind of add bunkers. Again, I would allow a little bit of run on here, so take the green back to like starting here, have a fairway apron around and wrap it round. But I think you've got a great eye for green complexes, I really do. What I think you need to develop a little bit more is how people place bunkers to add playing interest, because it's not always to punish a bad shot. It's like to allow you to bend a fairway in a certain direction, or to encourage people to play a hole a certain way. But that's flown by. Like, that's a really fun loop of 6 holes, and there's so much good on there. I think your other thing is bunker sculpting, and I'm sure you're probably aware of that. I think making slightly more standard shapes, making them a bit bigger, will make life easier for yourself there. But yeah, a lot of fun there. I know Stubby's pretty active on the forums as well, so check it out, and just, yeah, look forward to seeing how you progress throughout Design League. Thanks for the course, and catch you soon.